This video clip, we are going to discuss case uh, case which was decided by the International Court of Justice in the year 1980, May 24th. The case name is called Case Concerning United States Diplomatic and Consular Staff in Tehran. That is USA versus Iran. The question before the court was the admissibility of proceedings under Article 53 of the statute, existence of wider political dispute, no bar to legal proceedings, Security Council proceedings, no restrictions on functioning of the court, fact-finding mission established by the Secretary General. What is the jurisdiction of the court? Optional protocol to Vienna Convention of 1961-63 on the diplomatic consular relations, 1955 Treaty of Amity, economic relations and consular relations, USA and Iran, provision for recourse on the court to parties to every settlement by some other means, the right to file unilateral application, whether the countermeasures bar invoking treaty of amity. Another question involved was state responsibility of violation of Vienna Convention 1961 and 1963 on diplomatic and consular relations, action by a person not acting on behalf of state, the non-imputability thereof to the state, the breach of state or obligation of protection, subsequent decision to maintain situation so created on behalf of the state, use of situation and means of coercion. Question of special circumstances as possible justification of conduct of state and remedies provided for by the diplomatic law of abuses. The cumulative effect of successive breach of international obligation, fundamental character of the international diplomatic and consular relations. The judges who were present on that day when the judgment was rendered, it was headed by President Sir Humphrey Waldock, Vice President Elias, Judges Forster, Gross, Lach, Morozov, Nagendra Singh from India, Ruda Musler, Tarazi Voda, Hago, L. Arian, Site Camara, Baxter, and registrar was Akoroen. The facts of the case, this involves a case regarding with the United States and diplomatic consular staff in Iran, and the dispute was between the United States and Iran. And the facts of the case are: on November 29, 1979, legal advisor of State of United States of America handed over registrar an application instituting proceedings against Islamic Republic of Iran, the members of the in respect of dispute concerning the seizure and hostage of members of United States diplomatic and consular staff and certain other international U.S. nationals. Pursuant to Article 40, the paragraph 2, the statute, and Article 38, paragraph 4 of Rules of Court, application was at once communicated to the government of Iran in accordance with Article 40, paragraph 3 of the statute and Article 52 of the Rules of Conduct. The Secretary General of United Nations and the members of United Nations and other states entitled to appear before court were notified of application. On 29 November 1979, the same day application was filed, the government of United States filed registry of court a request for indication of provisional measures in Article 41 of the statute and Article 73 of Rules of the Court. By the order dated 15 December 1979, adopted anonymously, the court indicated provincial measures in the case. By order made by the President of the Court dated 24 December 1979, the 15th January 1980 was fixed a time limit for filing memorial of the United States, and 18 February 1980 was time limit given for the counter memorial by Iran. So date was given to both countries. 15th January 1980, the date cutoff date was given to USA to respond to file a counter, and 18 February 1980, the date was given to the Iran to file a counter. The with the liberty for Iran, if it is appointed for agent for purpose of appearing before the court, presenting its observation in the case to apply for reconsideration of time limit. The memorial of the United States was filed on 15 January 1980 within time limit, and the 18 February 1980 has a time limit countered by Iran. The Iran, no counter was filed by Iran, nor any agent was appointed, nor application was made reconsideration for time limit. Thus, the case became ready for hearing on 19 February 1980, the day the following expiration of time limit for fixed for counter memorials of Iran. In circumstances explained in paragraph 41-42 below, after due notice to the parties, 18th March 1980 was fixed the date of opening of oral hearing, that is oral proceeding. On 18, 19, 20, 1980, a public hearing was held, in course of which the court heard oral argument of agent and the Council of the United States. The government of Iran was not represented. At the hearing, the question was addressed to the agent of the United States by members of the court both during course of hearing, and subsequently reply was given either orally at the hearing or in writing, according to Article 61 and paragraph 4 of the rules of court. On 6 December 1979, the registry addressed notification for Article 63 of the Statute of Court of the State, which according to memo supplied by Secretary General as a depository was the parties to one or more the following convention: that the Vienna Convention of Diplomatic Relations 1961, Optional Protocol on Convention concerning compulsory settlement of dispute number 2, Vienna Convention of the Consular Relations 1963, number 4, Additional Protocol of Convention concerning compulsory settlement of dispute, number 5, the Convention on Prevention Punishment of Crimes and Internationally Protected Persons, including diplomatic agent 1973. So these were the 5 moot points which were raised by USA against Iran. The court, after ascertaining the views of the government of the United States on the matter, affording the government of Iran an opportunity of making its views known, decided to pursuant to Article 53 and paragraph 2 of the Rules of Conduct, the rules of the court. The copies of the pleading document was annexed were made accessible to public and with effect 25th March 1980. In course of written argument, the following submissions were made on the behalf of the United States: that the United States requested the court to adjudicate and declare as follows. Number 1 charge was made against Iran was the government of Iran in tolerating, encouraging, failing to prevent, punish conduct prescribed preceding statements of fact in violated its international legal obligations. United States has provided Article 22, 24, 25, 29, 31, or 47 of Vienna Convention of Diplomatic Relations. Article 28, 31, 34, 36, 40 of Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. Article 4 and 7 of Convention on Prevention and Punishment of Crimes against Internationally Protected Persons, including diplomatic agents. And Article 2, Article 13, Article 14, Article 19 of the Treaty of Amity, Economic Relations, Consular Rights between United States and Iran. Article 2, Subclause 2, Article 2, Subclause 4, and Article 33 of the Charter of the United Nations. Pursuant to the foregoing international obligation, the government of Iran is under a particular obligation immediately secure release of all United States currently detained within the premises of the United States Embassy in Tehran, assuring all such persons and all United States nationals in Tehran allowed to leave Iran safely. Pursuant to foregoing the international obligation, the government of Iran is under a particular obligation immediately secure all United States nationals currently be detained within the premises of the United States Embassy in Tehran, to assure all such persons on all US nationals in Tehran allowed to leave Iran safely. The government of Tehran shall pay United States its own rights and exercise of right of diplomatic protection of its national, reparation for foregoing violation of international legal obligation to the United States, example determined by the court. And finally, the government of Iran to submit its competent authority for the purpose of prosecution of those persons responsible for crime committed against the premises of the staff of the United States Embassy, against the premises of the consulates. In memorial, the government of United States respectfully requested the court and adjudicate and declared as follows: the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran, in permitting, tolerating, encouraging, enduring, exploiting, the failing to prevent and punish described in the statement of fact, violated international obligations provided by Article 22, 24, 26, 27, 29, 31, 37, 44, 47 Vienna Convention Diplomatic Relations, 5, 27, 28, 31, 34, 35, 36, 40, 72 of Vienna Convention of Consular Relations. So these are the moot points raised by the United States against the Islamic Republic of Iran. At the close of oral hearing, the written submission filed in the registry of the court on behalf of the United States of America on Article 60 in paragraph 2 rules of conduct. Copy was transmitted to government of Iran. Those submissions were identical submission in memorial of United States. No oral pleading was made by Iran, which was also not represented in oral proceeding. No submission thereof presented on their behalf. The position of the government, however, defined in two communications addressed to the court by Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Iran. First of these letters were addressed dated 9 December 1979, transmitted to telegram same day. And the second letter was transmitted by telex dated 16 March 1980, received on 17 March 1980. The text of following closely, the letter of 9 December 1979 reads as follows. It is translated from the French. I have honor to acknowledge the receipt of telegram concerning meeting of International Court of Justice to be held on 17 March 1980, a request of Government of United States to set forth you below. Once again, the position of Government of Islamic Republic of Iran in that respect. The Government of Islamic Republic of Iran wishes to express respect for International Court of Justice and its distinguished members for what they have achieved in quest for just and equitable solution to legal conflict between the state. Respectfully draws attention of the court deep-rooted and essential character of Islamic Revolution of Iran, a revolution of oppressed nation against oppressor. Their master's examination of numerous repercussions, essentially directly the matter within national sovereignty of Iran. The government of Islamic Republic Iran concerned the court cannot and should not take cognizance of the case which the government of United States of America submitted to it. Most significant fashion, the case confined what is called question of hostages of American embassy in Tehran. But this question represents a marginal and secondary aspect of overall problem. One such cannot be studied separately, which involves inter alia more than 25 years of continuous interference in the United States internal affairs of Iran, shameless exploitation of our country, numerous crimes perpetrated against the Iran people, contrary in conflict of all international and humanitarian norms. The problem involved in conflict between Iran and United States is thus one of the interpretation application of treaties upon the which the American application is based, which results from overall situation containing one more fundamental and more complex element. Subsequently, court cannot examine the American application diverse from the proper context, namely whole political dossier of relation between Iran and United States overall 25 years. With regard to a request for provisional measures are formulated by United States, it is in fact the implies the court should have passed judgment on actual substance of the case submitted to it. The court cannot do without breach of norm covering its jurisdiction. Furthermore, since provisional measures are by definition intended to protect interests of the parties, they cannot be unilateral. They are not in request submitted by American government. The matters raised in these communications are considered later in the judgment. The position taken by Iranian government in regard to present proceedings brings operation of Article 57 of the statute, under which the court is required inter alia satisfy itself claims of the claimant are well founded. In fact, this article, the court point out Carpo Channel case, this requirement to be understood. While Article 53 thus obliges court to consider submission of the party which appears, it does not compel the court to examine accuracy in all details. This might certain unopposed cases impossible in practice. It is sufficient for the court to convince itself that method consider considerable submission well founded. In this present case, United States explained owing to events in Iran which complained unable since then have access to diplomatic and consular representatives, premises, archives in Iran. In consequence, it has been unable to furnish detailed factual evidence of matters occurring on 4th November 1979. It, it mentioned particular lack of factual evidence concerning treatment of conditions uh, held hostage in Iran. On this point, however, without giving names of the person concerned, it submitted copy of declarations sworn by 6 of the 13 hostages who were released after 2 weeks of detention, returned to the United States in November 1979. Essential facts in the case are, the most part, matters of public knowledge, which receives extensive coverage in world press and radio and television broadcasts from Iran and other countries. The, they have been presented in the court by the United States in memorial, the statement of the Asian Council during oral proceedings. Thus, the court in support requests provisional measures by means of demonstrating the truth and account of the fact stated in memorial. Also, a memorial of statement of verification made by high officials, United States Department of the State, having overall responsibility within Department of Matters relating to crisis in Iran. While emphasizing all circumstances of the case, the United States had to rely upon newspaper, television reports, radio reports, a number of facts stated in memorial. The result is that the court has available a massive body of information from various resources concerning the facts and circumstances of the present case, including numerous official statements of both Iran and United States authorities. So far as newspaper, radio, and television reports emanating from Iran are concerned, the court has necessarily some cases rely upon translation into English supplied by the applicant of information available, however, wholly consistent and concurrent to the main facts and circumstances of the case. This information has been United States Memorial Record of Oral Proceedings and communicated to Court of Iran. Before examining the events of 4th November 1979, directly complained by the government of the United States, appropriate to mention certain other incidents occurred on the date. About 10:45 a.m., 14 February 1979, unrest in Iran following the fall of government of Dr. Bakhtiar, the last prime minister appointed by Shah. Armed rebellion attacked and seized United States Embassy in Tehran, taking prisoner 70% they found there, including ambassador. 2% associated with embassy were killed. Serious damage was caused to embassy. There were act of planting, uh, uh, pillaging the ambassador's residence. On this occasion, Iran's authorities had not been able to prevent incursion. They acted promptly in response to urgent appeal by assistance made by embassy during the attack. About 12 noon SD, the Deputy Prime Minister arrived at embassy accompanied by a member of National Police, at least one official and contingent of Revolutionary Guard. The quelled disturbance returned the protocol of American diplomatic relations, and March 11, 1979, United States Ambassador received a letter dated 11st March from the Prime Minister, Dr. Bazargan, expressing regrets for attack on embassy, stating that arrangement has been made to prevent any repetition of such incident, indicating readiness to take reparation for damage. The attacks were also made during same period to the United States consulate in Tabriz and Shiraz.